Hi Games Committee, I'm Sergeant Mug, and this is the Powerpuff Girls HIM and Seek. This is for the Game Boy Advance. The Powerpuff Girls are going to go on a scavenger hunt and encounter a lot of shenanigans along the way. We'll just jump right in. The time starts when I started that new file. We're just going to mash through the intro, where our teacher, Mrs. Keen, is telling us about the scavenger hunt, and then right away the girls are going to split up. This is a very efficient way to complete a scavenger hunt, is by splitting up. So they're going to each have their own individual levels where they'll solve some, troubles around the town on their own and find some items for the scavenger hunt, and then we'll reconvene later. So up first is Bubbles' level, where we've gone to the zoo, and oh my gosh, all the animals have escaped the enclosures. So Bubbles needs to run around and find all these different animals and throw them back in their cage, even though the gate is open. So they could just let themselves back out, but luckily they don't. We're gonna have to avoid some enemies along the way because it looks like these baddies are the ones who probably released them in the first place. So each room is the same, where there's gonna be 3 animals, and I'm just carrying them back to their cages and dodging the enemies along the way. We're just gonna do this for a couple more rooms, so now's a great time for any messages from the host. Yay, thank you. As you can see, I have these little quick bursts of speed. That uses my magic bar, which is that yellow bar that is below my blue health bar. The magic is depleted by dashing and by using some of my special attacks, like the girls have laser eyes and other different unique abilities. But dashing is obviously fast, so I'll be trying to use that as much as possible. And rather than waiting for a lot of yellow to charge up, I kind of can just do these little quick taps while I have just a little bit of energy on the bottom. And that kind of gets me moving at a decent clip, even if I don't have a full magic bar. I will start to not dash to save up magic power for if we know like a boss fight is coming up or something we're gonna need that for. But for the most part, I'm just trying to dash and keep my top speed as much as I can. These guys with the bats and whatnot have like a very high reach, so I try to kind of stay like below enemies for the most part, which is why I'm like kind of hanging low on the screen like this. The meerkats are so fast and sneaky. Got one more over here. See, that bat guy wasn't able to hit me because I was like below him. And this one was. So this is just, it's like I did that on purpose just to show you. Last meerkat, and I took some damage, so this is gonna be kind of bad. We're gonna go through the door here and head back to the zookeeper to let him know, hey, we saved all the animals. He's gonna thank us by giving us a stuffed animal, and then we're gonna enter our first boss fight. We're encountering Fuzzy, who I think I'm just gonna let defeat me right away, because I didn't want to get interrupted in the middle of the fight. I'd rather just restart with full health right now. Now you can see one of Bubbles' special moves, this thunderclap, which does a good chunk of health. Which was another perk of dying, was that I got all my magic back. On to the next level is Blossom. There's some trouble at school, at Pokey Oaks Elementary School or whatever. The Green Gang is causing some trouble on the playground and stole all the toys, so we gotta go track them down and put a stop to it. The 3 girls have different movement speeds and strengths. Bubbles is the weakest and the fastest. Buttercup is the strongest and the slowest, and I can't hit him. He's so small. And Blossom is somewhere in between. So in these individual levels, we just kind of, you won't notice, but when we're with all 3 girls, you can see them sort of, you can see what we'll do when we switch in between them. That guy was so mean. This last Green Gang member is gonna shoot a thingy, so I go below before I first attack him. For the most part, most of the enemies you can kind of stun lock. If you're just mashing the punch fast enough, they don't really have an opportunity to get an attack in. We take this upper route back because there's that magic replenish at the top and a couple toys up in the tree and on the slide. Mrs. Keen, look, we've got all the toys back. Yippee! So she gives us some chalk, I guess, which we need for the scavenger hunt. And then let's fight Princess outside the schoolyard. If I can charge up some magic, I might be able to take her out right here, and not quite. So she'll move into a few more locations, which is a little annoying. And we'll take her down and win her tiara. On to the last girl's individual level is Buttercup. What's up, Mr. Mayor? His poodle is missing or something. And meanwhile, some no do-gooders are in the museum and they've stolen some gems. So we're gonna take down some enemies to recover these gigantic purple crystal gems. As you can see, Buttercup does move considerably slower than the others, but she packs a punch, so that's pretty good for this fighting heavy level. We are going to take a death warp in this level. Because Buttercup is so slow, it will be faster for us to teleport back. So when I take some hits earlier, that's totally okay. I've got a few more baddies to take care of. There's that poodle. Any messages from the host right now? This would be a great opportunity. Thank you. And there's that death warp. This perfect timing. Now we can get back to this elevator that we had at the start of the floor, and then we can get the heck out of here. We'll tell the guard that we found all the gems, and he gives us another museum souvenir, which is another stuffed animal. We give the mayor his poodle back, and he gives us a pickle, so yay. And that's it for the individual levels. Now we have all three Powerpuff Girls are together, and we'll immediately switch to Bubbles because, like I said, she is the fastest. We'll try and conserve her health in fight scenes so that we have her available for these, like, travel-heavy segments. We're gonna head over to Tokyo Townsville, which is in a state of panic because there's enemies everywhere. This guy tells us, oh my god, please Powerpuff Girls, help us. So we're just gonna take down a bunch of enemies. I switched to Blossom here because I feel like she's the good, like, middle ground of strength and speed because we're moving around but we're also fighting. Buttercup would just be a little too slow, and then Bubbles, the actual fights would just take too long. I'm staying low to the ground because the enemies shoot, some of them shoot like laser projectile thingies, and if I stay low, like unlike that, if you stay below their eye level, you can kind of tend to, the shots will miss you. I'll switch to Bubbles for the air section because there's so few enemies up here in the air, so I'm mostly just flying straight with just a couple of these little round enemies. I'm going to take out a few more of the enemies on the floor, and while I do so, we can hear from the host again. Okay, yay, thank you so much. And we defeated all the monsters. I'm gonna switch to Buttercup because she's my strongest, because as we leave, oh my gosh, what is this? A giant ugly fish balloon thing? So we have one last monster to take care of that's terrorizing the Townsville here. I'm gonna use Buttercup's tornado special move to make quick work of this thing. I gotta punch all its eyeballs. And I'm about to lose Buttercup actually, so I'll switch to Blossom for the last few hits. And we get the lantern. Now, let's head back to the main town. And what's the big idea? It's not supposed to be nighttime yet. The boogeyman, what is he up to? So this is literally, we just finished up with a big beat 'em up section and we're immediately into another one. So you know the drill. I'm gonna use Blossom for the lower street level. I'm gonna try and stay under the eye level of enemies to avoid projectiles. And then once I beat this one, I'm switching to Bubbles to go up into the sky section to take out these round thingies and travel through the air more quickly. After this, we're gonna confront the boogeyman, but in the meantime, this is a great time for some more words from the host. I need to stop getting hit there. Yippee! There's a few health drops. There's a small heart, which restores some health. There's a big heart, which restores a lot of health. And then there's Chemical X, which will replenish your magic. And if you have if one of the girls has, like, died, then, you... Oh my gosh, I went the wrong way. Wait, this is cringe. There's a whole second room here. I forgot to say that. Whoa, there's more, guys! Don't worry! So we just picked up a Chemical X earlier, which luckily we didn't really need because we have all of our girls, but it's good to replenish the magic so we can stay dashing. Don't need that health, and then we'll switch to Blossom because we're back on the street level. We passed that nightclub earlier, and we need to defeat all the enemies because one of these enemies is holding the secret password to get us into the nightclub. They won't let us in to confront the boogeyman, you know, it's only fair. So we need to get this secret passcode from the final enemy we defeat, and then we can get into the... It's actually an arcade, I think, where we can confront the boogeyman. And there it is, we got the password. So let's boogie on back. So it's time to have a dance-off with the boogeyman. That's right, this is a rhythm game. So, in other words, it's basically an auto-scroller for me, especially because you saw that demo, it's moving pretty quick, so like, whoa, we gotta look lively. Nope, it moves at this speed the whole time. So, now's a great time for all the dance emotes in the chat. I want to see them. Everybody jam with the Powerpuff Girls as they stare deeply into your eyes. And there's 3 rounds of this. This is a great opportunity for some messages from the host, some banter with the couch, and just some general dancing, tomfoolery, and the like. The worst part is that this music is not even like the game is not synced with the music. It's not on beat at all, which is why I don't mind talking over it because it's 100% just by sight. He stamps his foot in frustration when you defeat him. I mean, it's kind of no wonder we're smoking him because we're doing all these like jumps and spins and like we're boogieing and he's just like idling side to side. But you know, his loss, I guess. You don't need to like get perfects all the time. If you get mostly greats, if you get some perfects, some okays, you're good here. I'm gonna intentionally miss this last note because there's a extra dialogue like adding your combo to your total score. And if you miss the last note, you break your combo and then you can skip that one little text box. Pretty minor. And it's kind of unsatisfying, but it does save a little time, so. And as you can see how slow this is moving, we can take the time save that we can get. Each button input does have a unique like motion from the girls. See, they'll like sway left on the left input and then they like mirror it and sway right on the right. And then for A, they do this little jump, and then for B, they do like a twirl or something. Here comes a B. Wow, look at them go, right? And then we'll miss this and that'll wrap up the boogeyman. He accepts defeat, gives us his dancing shoes. Next, I think their dialogue, they just said they heard something's up, Mojo Jojo's up to no good. You know, it's never up to any good. So we gotta head over to the prison where we know he's being held, which is right here. And what the heck? All the prisoners are out of the prison and it's the guards in the cells instead. How could this happen? Is this an appropriate time to like, can I say ACAB? This is a perfect time for that. Because they're very useless and then we just have to step in and take care of everything ourselves. So we can dash through the guards like ropes to cut them open, or we can punch them, which is quite satisfying, so there's that. And then we're just gonna avoid all of these enemies. It doesn't benefit us to fight them, except if we like maybe needed a health drop, which I'm still not gonna try and bother with. Ow! Okay, well maybe I might need to. There's some cells that... Ow! There's some cells that don't have any guards, so I just remember the ones that we do need to go into. Everything else we'll just kind of ignore. That was a good heart find, yay. Ow. Come out on the other side here. We've got 2 more rooms to go through and I accidentally left. So while we just free the last few guards, another great time for some messages. Help, hello? Awesome, we freed all the guards. I'll switch back to Bubbles because again, she's our fastest. so we can get back to the exit and tell the warden. The jail is really laggy because of just how many like moving characters there are in here. And oh my gosh, what's happening? There's Mojo Jojo. Where was he all this time? He's taking over the game. Now we have to help him escape from jail? What the heck? So yeah, now we're controlling Mojo Jojo for this little Frogger section while we help him escape jail. The hitboxes are huge, so anything that looks like it's cutting it close probably is too close, like you just saw I fell in the water there. I'll lock in for a little and let the commentator explain what I'm up to. I'm so glad you asked, Other Mug. Right here in the Frogger section, there's 3 different types of environments. There's the street with the cars, there's the water with all the boats. There's so many boats in this town for some reason, and submarines, and then this suburb section with the Powerpuff Girls flying around. There's 2 checkpoints along the way, so you have to get through basically 3 sections, like 1 street, 1 water, and 1 suburb before you reach a checkpoint. The submarines will like submerge under the water, but we kind of memorize a route where we can avoid that happening. Lastly, we're gonna avoid the girls. They always appear on the same lines, so Blossom is always on row 1 and then Bubbles on line 3 and so on and so forth. So by remembering those and the sneaky little Bubbles that appears on this street section, we can make it through with no trouble. Woo! Okay, we made it. And where else would Mojo Jojo go when he escapes from jail but to his own laboratory, or actually it's an observatory. So we're gonna head over to the observatory, or as the 6 runners of this game call it, the Oobservatory, because there's going to be an out of bounds glitch. I'll let the commentator explain it while we take it away. So the out of bounds clip revolves around the corners, either a corner that is there it goes, they're so fast. If you position yourself against the corner in a really precise way, you can slip right below that corner and then right up through the inbounds. You see she's gonna try going down the top corner this time. It works either way, going down into or out of bounds or going up into or out of bounds. And sometimes one can just feel better than the other. We're struggling a little bit here because it is really precise, and Bubbles is super fast, so that makes the inputs sensitive. So what we're gonna try here instead is switching to a slower girl to maybe just give us a little more leeway to line things up properly, because this can be pretty tricky. We'll switch to Blossom, and wouldn't you know it, immediately get it. So sometimes that's all it takes, and we're on to the next room, where we'll do one more clip, and then we've got quite a lot of ground to travel once we're out of bounds. You can see just how much of this level that we're skipping by using these out of bounds clips. Wow. I'll switch to the slower girl for the actual clips, and then I switch back to the faster girl for traveling through all the out of bounds areas. It's very important that I save all 3 of the girls, because as you've seen a few of the girls' special attacks, the thunderclap and such, the girls actually have a super secret special ultra move that they can only use when all 3 of them are together. And it's extremely powerful, so we want to use it against some of the major boss fights, which are coming up soon. So it's very important to keep all 3 girls in good health. Which is why I need to not get hit by that laser thing while I clip one more time. Ow. I'm gonna make sure I have one girl with full magic. It looks like Buttercup is almost there, but I'll get Blossom up to full as well, because this super ultra special attack takes a full magic bar. So I'm gonna fight with Buttercup because she's the strongest for phase 1 of the fight. Then when we get to phase 2, I'll know that I can switch to Blossom and use the special move. I also, unfortunately, think this is not a good situation, because I think I have to switch off with Buttercup and I'm gonna lose her. Switch to Bubbles, but she's the slowest because she's a fragile little punch. She's not very strong. So this will be a little dicey. To defeat phase 1 of Mojo Jojo, I have to knock the arm cannons and the head piece off this robot. And while I whack away at him, I'll let the host take it away. here's the special move go. That giant red laser will one-shot most bosses, so it's really good to keep it if you're able to. You see Blossom, poor Blossom's pretty low on health. We almost lost her in the final moment there. But we got through. So now we're on to the last section of the game. The final, it's in the name after all, the final confrontation with him. So we're gonna head over to him's lair, which is just all the way to the left. We're just doing a lot of backtracking, so now's a good time for another message before we get into the final segment. Awesome, thank you so much. As you can see, this final segment is, that's right, it's an auto-scroller. So we'll stay to the left so that we can see these obstacles as they come, or just still get hit by them. Yeah, sure, awesome, cool. Which is gonna be these fireballs that like rise up from the lava, and these like meteor kind of like rock things that come at us from the right side. So I'll use my laser eyes and my punches to try and avoid them as much as possible. All 3 of my girls are on really low health right now, so this upcoming Chemical X is going to be crucial for reviving a girl if we lose one, which we just did. So luckily it's right here, and we'll get Bubbles back at full HP. We'll find some health pickups later too, which is going to be essential for getting the other 2 girls back up to a better health. Because like we did with Mojo Jojo, we're going to want to use the ultra special red laser on him's second phase, so we definitely want to keep all 3 of the girls alive. That first room was really easy. We just hugged the bottom of the screen, and that will take us safely to the end. On this second room, we'll stay towards the top, of course being careful of these spikes, and that will take us, ow, there's nothing I could do there. Will take us safely to the portal. This is like a labyrinth where if you take the wrong route, you'll find a warp panel, but it will be like wrong and will send you back to the start. So don't worry, we're on the safe routes, so we won't get lost. Grab a health here, yay. Whoop. Oh, that's so silly. If I take too long to switch, then I just get hit. I just need to like fire a laser eye at them. So we've got one more, one more, we've got to get to the end of this room, and then there's one more room, and I'll need to focus just a teeny bit in this next room, so now's a great time for some final words from the host before we get to the final boss fight. Ducky. So that was me switching to Buttercup to make sure I got her magic bar filled all the way full. She's the girl I'll switch to use the final attack. Bubbles is just a little too low on health that I'm scared if I switch to her, she'll just die before I manage to make the input. So I made sure Buttercup was safe to do that with as well. And with that, let's have the final boss fight. We're gonna fight against him. This first phase is really lame. He spawns and tries to attack you, and if you hit him once, it cancels his attack and then he teleports away. So we kind of just sit here and like wait for him to spawn. We get one hit off and then he goes away. So we just do this for quite a while. And that's right, I baited you. I said that was last words from the host, but this is the perfect time for some real last words from the host. Okay, yay, thank you so much. Now, as we get the health bar towards the 50% mark, then we'll go into phase 2, which is really scary looking. But no matter, the giant Powerpuff Girls Ultra Laser attack finishes him off in one hit. So then we get Him's belt, which is the last item we needed for the scavenger hunt. And with that, let's get back to Pokey Oaks and turn our findings into Mrs. Keen. So as we scurry back to the school, this is a great time for like my sign-offs, my commentator sign-offs. I've been Sergeant Mug. I hope you love this game. And as we go in here, time will be when the iconic Powerpuff Girls pink hearts appear on the screen. We got 3rd place in the scavenger hunt. That's pretty good. And time. That's Powerpuff Girls Him and Seek. This is the any % category, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks!